For the sponge, you will need 50 grams of unsalted butter softened, 180 grams of caster sugar, 1 egg, 1 teaspoon vanilla extract, 160 grams plain flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder and 160 ml of milk. First, preheat your oven. Next, line a 12-hole muffin tin with paper cases. In a bowl, cream together the butter and sugar until light and fluffy. Do not worry if there is still some sugar granules visible, it will not show up in the final bake. If you are using a standing mixer, make sure to scrape down the entire bowl and keep mixing, as the mixer may not touch the bottom of the bowl, and you want to make sure everything is mixed together. Once the butter and sugar have combined, add in your egg. Again, making sure to scrape down the sides as you go. While it is mixing, add in your 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And keep mixing until all ingredients have combined. If you were using a standing mixer, take your bowl off of the standing mixer and use a spatula or a wooden spoon to fold in your flour and baking powder. Making sure to do it carefully to trap in air bubbles so your cupcakes rise. Once all the flour and baking powder has been mixed, your mixture should look a bit like cookie dough. Slowly add your milk to the mixture, beating as you go until you have a smooth batter. Again, making sure to scrape down the sides as the whisk of your mixture, if it is a standing mixer, may not reach to the bottom of the bowl, and you want to make sure there is no cookie dough like substance still in the mixture. I just use a spatula just to scrape down the edges and make sure everything is incorporated. While it is beating, I always look back at the recipe and make sure that I've added everything in, as once it goes into the oven there is no turning back, and anything you've missed out you cannot then add. I will list all of the ingredients down in the description below. This is what my mixture looks like, and if yours looks anything like that, then well done. Next, add your mixture to the paper cases. I tend to use a ice cream scoop, as then I can make sure that all of the amounts into the paper cases are exact same. Admittedly, mine weren't, but that is just because I did not spoon the mixture evenly. Normally I would make double the mixture, but I did not want lots of cupcakes this time round. The recipe I was using said that you'd get 12 cupcakes out of this mixture. I got 11, as I always want to make my cupcakes more like muffins, so I did not get as many. But if you make them all less, you of course will have enough to make then 12. Your oven, if you preheated it when I said, then it should be heated up by now. If there are any cases in your muffin tray that are not filled, then do take them out because they do not need to be in there and you can reuse them for a different time. Place your cupcakes in the oven for 15 to 20 minutes until a skewer inserted comes out clean. Once they are out, leave them to cool until they are completely cold. Transfer your cupcakes from the tin to a wire rack, which will help them cool down quicker. If they are not completely cold, your butter icing will melt on them. For your icing, you will need 500 grams icing sugar, 250 grams unsalted butter softened, and a half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Add all of your ingredients to the bowl and mix until you have a smooth buttercream icing. If you are using a handheld mixer, then I suggest using a wooden spoon first to mix gently by hand all the ingredients, so that when you use your mixer, if it does not have a lid, then no icing sugar will go around everywhere and it will keep it all in the bowl. If your mixer does have a lid, then you do not need to mix by a hand with a wooden spoon first. But make sure you still do not put the mixer on high first, as you will see in a moment, icing sugar still goes everywhere, like it did just then. I mixed mine for quite a while, which made the mixture quite white. If you would like to colour your mixture, I suggest adding colour now, and it will incorporate all of it. With everything else, still making sure to scrape down the sides to make sure all the icing sugar has been mixed in. I chose to keep my buttercream icing white / cream coloured, but you of course can add any colours you want. With icing sugar, I find it's always best just to get creative with whatever you're making and make it original. If you find the mixture is too smooth, then add more icing sugar to make it a bit thicker. On the other hand, like I did, if you find it is too thick, then add a splash of milk, which will help wet it down a bit. and will make it easier to pipe if you were baking with younger children. Keep mixing until you are happy with the consistency, and if you are adding colour, keep mixing until you are happy with the colour. If you want, you can separate the mixture and place colour into one of them, or different colours into both mixtures if you separate it out, and then you can incorporate it all into the icing bag, which will make a mixture of different colours. Now that it is all mixed, I used a star nozzle to pipe, and if you put the bag in a glass, it will help you fill the bag and will create less mess and will be easier to hold. So I just used a pint glass to hold it because I find they are the right size. And then you want to fill it with all of your icing sugar. Of course, if you have more than one of you that wants to pipe, you can either fill a bag with all the icing sugar and take turns, or you can use 2 separate bags and fill them both. I used a couple different techniques. If you start in the middle and swirl out to the side, you'll get a rose. If you do it the other way, you will get just a swirl. You can do one splodge in the middle. If you pipe quickly and you squeeze down and sharply pull up, then you get this sort of flowery piped look. Most of the time though, I just did the swirl pattern. So these are my finished cupcakes. You can of course add sprinkles if you want. I do hope you liked this tutorial. If you did, give it a like and subscribe. The cupcakes turned out very well and were very yummy. And here is a little cross section of one of the cupcakes. Thanks for watching my tutorial. Enjoy your cupcakes. Bye.